What if I told you the most powerful weapon in the world is not a missile, not an army, but a piece of paper, a currency, the US dollar? Every time you buy petrol, every time countries trade, every time a crisis hits, the world turns to one thing. But here's the real question: why does the entire planet depend on the money of just one country? And what happens if this system breaks? Right now, the US dollar is not just a currency, it is the foundation of the global economy. Around 60% of global reserves are in dollars. Most international trade happens in dollars. Even countries that don't trust the US still use it. Think about that. Nations across the world holding wealth in a currency they don't control. This isn't normal. This is power. But this power didn't happen by accident. It was engineered. In the 1970s, after a global oil crisis, the United States made a strategic move, a deal with oil producing nations. Oil would be priced and sold only in US dollars. And just like that, everything changed. Because oil is not just another commodity, it is the lifeblood of every economy. So, if a country needs energy, it needs dollars. No dollars, no oil. No oil, no economy. And just like that, the entire world became dependent on the US currency. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Countries don't just use dollars, they invest them back into the United States. Why? Because the US offers the safest government bonds, the largest financial markets, the most trusted system. So when countries earn money, they send it right back to America. Think about the genius of the system. The world needs dollars, the world earns dollars, the world gives those dollars back to the US. This is not just economics, this is a financial empire. Now imagine you are a country trying to break free. You decide we won't use the dollar anymore. Sounds simple, right? But here's the problem: global trade, shipping, contracts, banking, everything runs on dollars. Even when two countries trade with each other, they often still use US dollars because it's faster, safer, and universally accepted. This is called a network effect, and it creates a trap. You use the dollar because everyone else uses the dollar. Breaking this system is like trying to leave the internet. Almost impossible. But here's where things get serious. The US doesn't just benefit from the dollar, it weaponizes it. Through the global financial system, the US can cut countries off from global trade, freeze billions in assets, collapse economies without firing a single shot. We have seen this happen to countries like Iran and Russia. This means one thing: the dollar is not just money, it is geopolitical power. Now, you might think, surely someone can replace the dollar. Let's look at the contenders: China's yuan, controlled by the government, limited trust. The euro, strong but politically divided. Gold or crypto, not practical for global trade. So, despite all the talk, no currency today can match the scale, the trust, the global reach of the US dollar. But here's the twist, the system is not perfect. Countries are slowly starting to push back, trading in local currencies, building alternative systems, reducing dollar dependence. These are small cracks. But over time, cracks can become fractures. The US dollar is not just a currency, it is the backbone of a global system built on energy, trade, finance, and geopolitical power. And until another nation can rebuild this entire system, the dollar will continue to rule the world. But the real question is, for how long?